High above the clouds, where Earth rises closer to the heavens than anywhere else, the Himalayas reveal landscapes so surreal they seem borrowed from another world. This mountain realm spans nations and cultures, yet exists outside everything we think we understand, a frontier where reality blends with something ancient and immense. Each ridge, wall of ice, and sweep of stone feels carved with impossible precision, shaped by forces older than civilization itself. Here, light behaves strangely. Dawn pours molten gold over frozen cliffs, while shadows form patterns that seem almost supernatural. Mist drifts through deep valleys like silent guardians, reshaping the world from moment to moment. Some regions look frozen in eternity, unchanged for ages, yet constantly sculpted by wind and snow. Others burst with color, deep blues, pure whites, earthy browns, and reflections so vivid they erase the boundary between sky and mountain. Vast valleys open like gateways into a dream, where clouds layer and light shimmers like a sea suspended in the air. Towering peaks rise like colossal pillars, linking the world of humans to the endless heavens. Every step deeper feels like stepping into an ancient myth written long before history began. Trails wind along cliffs and forests, echoing the footsteps of travelers who witnessed this world in its raw form. Villages cling to mountainsides as if floating between earth and sky, tiny against the mountain giants around them. And at times, the wind sweeps the mist away, revealing panoramas so vast your mind needs a moment to take them in. Lines of snow, walls of rock, and tides of cloud move together like a living canvas shaped by nature's greatest forces. In today's video, we uncover the 10 most unreal places hidden within this legendary range, masterpieces that prove why the Himalayas remain one of Earth's most extraordinary wonders. Mount Everest, Nepal and Tibet. Mount Everest, the highest peak on Earth, unveils a realm where sky and land seem to merge, making anyone who stands before it feel like they've crossed into another world. From the very first glimpse, the vast stretches of white snow and towering rock cliffs create a surreal landscape that seems almost unreal. Every sunrise casts golden and pink light across the snowfields, highlighting jagged crevices and icy ridges, producing a spectacle that feels alive and ever-changing. Walking closer, the colossal glaciers and sheer rock faces form a natural maze, where every step brings a sense of awe and reverence. The air grows thinner and colder as you ascend, and the silence is profound, broken only by the whisper of the wind and the occasional crack of ice, amplifying the mountain's majesty. Light reflects differently across the ice and snow at every angle, shifting from pure white to silvery blue, creating an ever-evolving, otherworldly panorama. Base camps nestled on the slopes offer vantage points to appreciate the vastness of the Himalayas, revealing peaks that stretch endlessly toward the horizon. Misty mornings wrap the valleys in a veil of fog, producing a mystical, almost cinematic atmosphere that enhances the mountain's enigmatic beauty. The ice formations and snow ridges present geometric patterns and textures so striking they feel deliberate, leaving you to wonder how nature shaped them so precisely. The deeper you move into the higher altitudes, the more the landscape challenges your senses, as the scale of the mountain dwarfs every human presence. Sunlight filtering through clouds casts dazzling rays across the glaciers, making the ice shimmer like a living sculpture. Ancient geological formations reveal millions of years of Earth's history, from fossils buried in rock to glacial remnants that tell stories of a time before humans. Seasons transform Everest dramatically. Summer brings crisp blues and greens along lower slopes. Autumn paints golden hues across ridges, and winter blankets everything in stark, pure white. The combination of shadow and sunlight along the snowfields produces visual contrasts that heighten the mountain's drama. Every ridge, crevice, and icefall adds layers of depth and perspective, creating a sense of scale that is both humbling and exhilarating. A fascinating secret: beneath the ice, ancient marine fossils remain preserved, evidence that these towering peaks were once beneath the sea. Morning light glinting on icy pinnacles produces a magical shimmer, reinforcing Everest's almost supernatural allure. The wind whispers across the glaciers, carrying a sense of isolation and mystery, as if the mountain itself holds secrets untold. Twilight bathes the peaks in amber and rose, making the entire landscape appear timeless, ethereal, and otherworldly. A small tip: visit at sunrise or sunset when the light is soft and the atmosphere is calm to witness Everest at its most cinematic and unforgettable. Everest is more than a mountain. It is a living testament to Earth's power, mystery, and beauty, where every moment evokes wonder and awe. Standing among its glaciers and ridges, you realize that Himalaya's grandeur and mystery will leave an indelible mark on anyone who ventures here. Amadablam, Nepal. Amadablam, known as the most beautiful mountain in the Himalayas, rises before you like a living work of art, instantly captivating anyone who gazes upon it. From afar, its diamond-sharp peak pierces the sky, wrapped in swirling clouds that create a fantasy-like atmosphere between heaven and earth. The morning light filters through the clouds, making the snow and ice on the slopes glitter like crystal, transforming every view into an almost unreal spectacle. As you approach the base, the mountain's towering ridges and sheer rock faces form a natural maze of awe-inspiring geometry, leaving you speechless. While Everest feels powerful and overwhelming, Ama brings harmony and elegance, rising in gentle sweeps before tightening into bold, angular edges. Clouds drift across the summit, wrapping it in mist, producing an ethereal effect, like Ama is floating above the world. Every angle from the valley floor to the high camp reveals new dimensions of majesty, where each perspective feels both intimate and grandiose. From the valleys, Ama seems to hover above the Khumbu landscape, suspended between snowfields and sky. The surrounding ridges and spurs rise abruptly, emphasizing the scale and sheer presence of the mountain, dwarfing all who stand nearby. Early morning fog drifts through the lower slopes, adding a layer of mystery, making every frame cinematic and suspenseful. The hanging glacier, the iconic Dablum, sparkles under sunlight and defines the mountain's elegant geometry. Along the Everest Base Camp Trail, Ama dominates the skyline, offering both intimate and monumental angles. A fascinating secret, Ama is called the Mother's Necklace, due to the hanging ice ridges along its slopes, said by climbers to watch over those who dare ascend. Seasonal colors add variety. Green valleys in summer, golden ridges in autumn, pure white slopes in winter. Sunlight through the crevices and ice pinnacles creates beams of light that make the mountain look enchanted, heightening its mystical allure. The sky above constantly shifts, from clear blues to vibrant sunset purples, producing a color palette that feels otherworldly. Steep ridges, deep ice gullies, and secondary peaks rising into the clouds enhance the sense of mystery, making every step feel like entering a hidden world. Each climb, each vantage point reveals the perfect blend of grandeur, enigma, and ethereal beauty, establishing Ama as Nepal's ultimate unreal icon. A small tip: Shoot or explore at sunrise or sunset, when soft light and drifting clouds accentuate the mountain's cinematic character. Dablam is more than a peak. It is a living masterpiece of nature, where ice, rock, and clouds combine to create moments of pure wonder. Khumbu Valley, Nepal. Khumbu Valley opens like a gateway into a world of legendary peaks, where every step makes you question whether you're still on Earth or have wandered onto another planet. From the very first moments, the valley stretches before you with snow-covered Himalayas, sheer rock faces, and deep glacial gorges, leaving your heart racing in awe. White clouds swirl around the peaks like floating silk, giving the entire valley an unreal, almost magical quality, as if it were lifted straight from a fantasy film. Glacial crevices and winding ice rivers reflect the light in ways that make every scene breathtaking and cinematic. From higher vantage points, the valley looks like an enormous labyrinth where clouds and rocks constantly shift, keeping your eyes and mind captivated. Namche Bazaar emerges on the mountainside like a town suspended in the sky, its colorful rooftops standing out among the forest and snow. Tengboche Monastery, visible from afar, appears as an ancient temple floating in the clouds, serene yet commanding, adding a mystical aura to the landscape. Morning mist drapes the valley in a veil of mystery, blending sunlight and clouds into an ethereal scene. The trekking path winds through gorges and ice slopes, each step bringing you closer to surreal vistas, balancing exhilaration with awe. The towering cliffs and glaciers emphasize the sheer scale of the Himalayas, making every human figure seem impossibly small. Sunlight streaming through the crevices and ice casts magical beams, bringing life to the frozen landscape. The valley hides millions of years of geological and glacial history, sparking curiosity and wonder in every observer. Small villages, rest stops, and waypoints along the trail add vivid details, grounding the grandeur in human experience. Afternoon light bathing the peaks and rooftops transforms Khumbu Valley into a living painting, each moment cinematic and mesmerizing. The wind and ice cracking echo through the valley, creating a strange stillness, letting you feel the valley's very heartbeat. A fascinating secret, the valley is ever-changing. Clouds and ice shift constantly, so no two moments ever look the same, as if nature itself is telling a story. The steep slopes and deep gorges make every viewpoint feel otherworldly and mysterious, as if you've stepped into a hidden world. Each step from Namche Bazaar to the campsites reveals a blend of wonder and challenge, cementing Khumbu Valley as one of Nepal's most unreal places. The interplay of light, clouds, ice, and peaks creates scenes alive with cinematic potential, making every moment worth capturing. A small tip: visit at sunrise or sunset, when soft light and drifting mist enhance the valley's cinematic magic. Khumbu Valley is more than a valley. It's a journey through breathtaking and mysterious nature, where every scene is grand, unreal, and inspiring. Annapurna Sanctuary, Nepal. Stepping into Annapurna Sanctuary feels like entering a hidden kingdom of ice, where colossal Himalayan walls rise in every direction, and the sky itself seems trapped inside a giant mountain amphitheater. From the very first step into the valley, sheer cliffs rise on both sides, guiding you deeper into a world carved by glaciers and surrounded by snow-capped giants. White clouds drift slowly along the wall of peaks, wrapping them like floating silk and giving the sanctuary an ethereal, dreamlike atmosphere. Glacial streams cut through the valley floor, catching light and creating shimmering reflections that make every moment vivid and cinematic. From higher viewpoints, the sanctuary reveals itself as a perfect crescent of mountains, Annapurna 1, Hyunchuli, and Machapuchari forming a dramatic ring around the valley. Machapuchari, with its iconic fishtail peak, stands like a silent guardian at the entrance, adding a touch of mystery and elegance to the journey. Annapurna Base Camp appears nestled in the heart of the bowl, surrounded by colossal walls of snow and ice that feel both protective and overwhelming. Morning fog rolls gently along the valley floor, blending with golden light and clouds to create a magical, otherworldly scene. The trekking paths wind through bamboo forests, rocky slopes, and glacial moraines, each section revealing new layers of beauty and contrast. Towering ridges rise abruptly from the valley, emphasizing the immense scale and power of the Annapurna Range. Sunlight streaming through gaps in the peaks forms glowing beams that dance across the snowfields, bringing motion and brilliance to the icy landscape. The sanctuary holds millions of years of geological history, ancient rock walls, glacial remnants, and deep valleys shaped long before humans existed. Small tea houses, resting spots, and stone steps along the trail add warm, human-scale details to the epic surroundings. Afternoon light softens the snowfields and mountain walls, turning the entire bowl into a living painting of gold, silver, and blue. The hush of wind and distant crackle of ice create a haunting stillness, letting you feel the raw heartbeat of the high Himalayas. A fascinating secret, the clouds inside the sanctuary shift constantly due to its bowl-like shape, creating scenes that never repeat themselves. Sharp ridges and deep crevices make every viewpoint feel mysterious and cinematic, as if the valley hides stories waiting to be uncovered. Each step from Machapuchari Base Camp to Annapurna Base Camp reveals new angles and colors, immersing you deeper into this unreal, frozen world. Light, clouds, ice, and towering peaks merge to form living, shifting scenes that feel handcrafted by nature. A small tip: sunrise inside the sanctuary is extraordinary. The first light hits the 8,000-meter walls and turns them rose gold, creating one of the most cinematic moments in the entire Himalaya. This is more than a valley. It is a natural fortress of beauty and mystery, where every scene feels epic, rare, and unforgettable. Every moment within the sanctuary leaves you humbled and inspired, revealing the full, surreal majesty of the Annapurna Range. Pangong Lake, Ladakh, India. Before you stretches a vast body of water, like a mystical mirror, reflecting the rugged desert mountains and the clear blue sky, making you question whether you're truly on Earth or have stepped into another world. The lake's colors shift with every passing moment, from deep sapphire blue to crystal jade, and finally to a silvery purple as the sun begins to dip toward the horizon. Surrounding barren mountain ranges create a striking contrast, where golden deserts meet pristine waters, a combination so rare it feels almost unreal in the western Himalayas. In the early morning, the lake lies calm like a massive mirror, reflecting clouds in the soft light of dawn, producing a scene both serene and surreal. By midday, gentle ripples shimmer across the surface, catching the sunlight and creating a hypnotic, cinematic effect that captivates every observer. As sunset fall, the lake and surrounding mountains are bathed in purple-tinged light, transforming the landscape into a mystical, almost otherworldly spectacle. Sandy shores, rocky outcrops, and small peninsulas provide perfect foreground elements, adding depth and cinematic appeal to every shot. From above, the lake stretches like a continuous ribbon of changing colors, merging mountains, sky, and water into a surreal, living painting. Lower mountain peaks and rocky ridges frame the lake, emphasizing its vast scale and making anyone feel small against the grandeur of nature. Sunlight shifts constantly, passing through mountain gaps, casting ethereal beams that highlight the lake's majestic beauty. The sound of the wind and gentle lapping waves provides a natural rhythm, enhancing the immersive and serene cinematic experience. A fascinating secret, even though it sits amid a barren desert, the water remains clear and astonishingly colorful, leaving scientists and travelers alike in awe. Each season transforms the lake, emerald green in summer, golden hues in autumn, and a delicate purple glow at winter sunset, making each moment cinematic and unique. Walking along the shoreline, every step reveals different compositions, from sandy beaches and rocky points to tiny islands, all adding to the lake's surreal charm. Pangong Lake is more than just a lake. It is a one-of-a-kind natural phenomenon, where every moment feels unreal, majestic, and profoundly inspiring. Spiti Valley, Himachal Pradesh, India. Stepping into Spiti Valley feels like entering a frozen desert within the Himalayas, where towering rocky peaks and deep valleys stretch endlessly, making every step awe-inspiring and surreal. From the very first glance, massive barren mountains and snow-dusted ridges create a stark, otherworldly landscape, where every shadow and angle seems purposefully crafted by nature itself. Early morning sunlight hits the slopes, casting golden highlights across the rocks and ice, creating reflections so vivid they seem almost unreal. White clouds swirl gently around the peaks like floating ribbons, adding a mystical layer that enhances the valley's cinematic allure. Glacial streams carve their way through the valley, reflecting the sunlight and sky, producing a hypnotic, ever-changing play of light and color. From elevated viewpoints, the valley reveals a natural amphitheater of rock and ice, where slopes and ridges curve dramatically to frame the entire scene. Remote villages, whitewashed and compact, appear like tiny islands of life, standing in stark contrast to the sheer scale of the surrounding desert mountains. Key Monastery rises on its cliff like a fortress of wisdom, its white walls glowing under the sun, merging culture with the harsh beauty of the terrain. Morning mist drifts through the valley, creating a mysterious veil that softens the landscape while emphasizing the sharpness of the peaks. Winding trails snake between rocky ridges and ice slopes, leading explorers deeper into a landscape that feels suspended between reality and fantasy. The scale of the towering cliffs and surrounding mountains emphasizes the immense grandeur of the Himalayas, making every human figure feel tiny in comparison. As the sun moves across the sky, The interplay of light and shadow transforms the valley into a living painting, where every moment is distinct and cinematic. The whisper of wind, the subtle crack of ice, and the movement of dust across the slopes create a natural rhythm, enhancing the immersive experience. A fascinating secret: despite the harsh, arid environment, hidden patches of greenery and flowing streams persist in the valley, adding life to the seemingly desolate terrain. Rocks, outcrops, and sand dunes along the valley floor provide multi-layered perspectives, making each shot dynamic and visually captivating. The valley's seasonal shifts, from emerald summer hues to golden autumn tones and soft winter whites, create a continuously evolving cinematic palette. Walking along the trails, every turn opens up a new perspective, whether it's a sweeping view of the valley or a close-up of sunlit rocks and streams. Every turn on the trails reveals new angles: sweeping plains, ancient mud houses, and sunlit monasteries perched impossibly high. Sharp ridges and deep gorges amplify the sense of scale and drama, reinforcing the valley's surreal character. A small tip: visit at sunrise or sunset, when soft light and lingering mist maximize the cinematic impact of the landscape. Spiti Valley is more than a remote Himalayan valley. It is a frozen desert alive with mystery, where every moment feels unreal, awe-inspiring, and profoundly cinematic. Hunza Valley, Pakistan. Stepping into Hunza Valley feels like entering a frozen desert within the Himalayas, where towering rocky peaks and deep valleys stretch endlessly, making every step awe-inspiring and surreal. The Pasu cones rise sharply with jagged, tooth-like formations, creating a surreal landscape that feels almost otherworldly. The Hunza River flows like a ribbon of ice blue, winding through the valley, reflecting sunlight and sky in a way that captivates every observer. The contrast is breathtaking: dry desert mountains against the Emerald River, a combination so rare it feels almost unreal in the Western Himalayas. In the early morning, the lake-like river lies calm, reflecting clouds and sunlight, creating a scene both tranquil and dreamlike. During the day, sunlight hits the river in slopes, producing glimmering reflections and shimmering textures that are cinematic in every frame. Golden light bathes the peaks and villages, transforming the valley into a cinematic painting where the mountains, river, and sky merge seamlessly. Scattered villages and ancient monasteries perched on cliffs appear as isolated gems, adding human-scale details amidst the vast wilderness. Mist drifts through the valley in the early hours, creating a ghostly veil, enhancing the sense of mystery and otherworldliness. Trails snake along rocky ridges, revealing constantly changing perspectives, from panoramic vistas to intimate scenes of flowing water. The scale of the cliffs and mountains emphasizes the vastness and grandeur of the Karakoram, making any observer feel small and humbled. Shadows cast by peaks and rocks create dynamic contrasts, adding depth and cinematic drama to the valley. A fascinating secret, despite its harsh, arid terrain, Hunza Valley contains hidden pockets of greenery and streams, surprising visitors with life amid the desert mountains. Every viewpoint, from mountain spurs to riverbanks, offers unique cinematic compositions, capturing the valley's surreal beauty. Golden light during autumn transforms the valley into one of the most visually stunning locations in Asia, where every frame feels like a painting. Seasonal shifts, from emerald summer hues to golden autumn tones, create constantly evolving cinematic palettes, keeping every visit fresh and inspiring. Even small details, like a river bend or a rocky outcrop, contribute to the valley's visual storytelling, making each frame feel deliberate and magical. A small tip: visit at sunrise or sunset, when soft light and drifting mist maximize the cinematic effect and enhance the surreal colors of the valley. Hunza Valley is more than just a remote valley. It is a masterpiece of nature, where mountains, rivers, and light converge to create moments that are both awe-inspiring and unreal. Manali, Himachal Pradesh, India. Stepping into Manali feels like entering a valley where forests breathe, rivers shimmer, and Himalayan peaks rise gently into the sky, creating a world that feels calm yet quietly unreal. From the very first view, snow-capped summits frame the horizon, standing behind layers of deep green pines and cedar forests that blanket the slopes. Bees River flows through the valley like a moving ribbon of silver, catching sunlight and adding motion and sparkle to every frame. As you walk deeper into the valley, the scent of pine, cool air, and distant birdsong blend into an atmosphere that feels alive and immersive. Sunlight filters through tall forests, creating moving patterns of gold and shadow that shift with every breeze. Small wooden houses and hillside villages add warmth and color, grounding the valley's grandeur with human stories and daily life. Mist sometimes settles between the trees in the early morning, softening the landscape into a dreamy, cinematic glow. Winding mountain roads curve around cliffs and forests, revealing new perspectives with every turn. Trails leading to Salong, Hamta, or Old Manali open into wide meadows, where streams flow gently and snow peaks rise in the background. Steep cliffs on the valley's edges emphasize the scale of the Himalayas, yet Manali's landscapes feel approachable and welcoming. The forest canopy shifts hues throughout the day, from cool greens in the morning to warm amber tones in the afternoon. Riverside rocks, fallen pine needles, and patches of wildflowers create natural foregrounds perfect for visual storytelling. The interplay of light, water, and forest texture gives every viewpoint a layered, cinematic quality. Ancient temples like Hidimba and Manu sit quietly among the trees, adding history and spiritual depth to the surrounding nature. Scattered cafes and wooden bridges across the river add pockets of charm, making the valley feel both lively and serene. As the sun lowers, golden light touches the treetops and slopes, turning the entire valley into a soft, glowing scene. Each season transforms Manali, lush monsoon greens, bright autumn yellows, and winter blankets of snow in the higher passes. Walking along the riverside paths, you discover shifting angles, rippling water, towering trees, and distant peaks aligning naturally into perfect compositions. The gentle rhythm of flowing water and rustling pine branches creates a calming soundtrack that blends seamlessly with the mountain air. A fascinating detail, Manali's forests hold countless tiny springs and hidden streams that reveal themselves only after heavy snowmelt. A small tip, the valley is most cinematic during early morning or late afternoon, when low-angle sunlight highlights both forest and river in warm, natural tones. Manali is more than a hill station. It is a living valley of forests, rivers, and Himalayan peaks, where every moment feels peaceful, vivid, and deeply cinematic. Rishikesh, Himalayan foothills, India. The moment you step into Rishikesh, the towering Himalayas meet the emerald Ganges, and forests, hill, and ancient temples merge into a magical, mysterious journey. From the very first glance, morning light glimmers on the river, creating a living mirror that reflects the mountains, forests, and temple rooftops, making the scenery feel both tranquil and unreal. The rolling hills, blanketed in dense pine forests, contrast perfectly with the jade-green waters, giving each perspective a cinematic and mesmerizing quality. Stone-paved paths lead through ancient temples, framing the scenery with serenity and mystique, as if every detail is designed to guide your gaze. Early morning mist drifts across the valley, covering temples and trees in a ghostly veil, heightening the sense of mystery and making the landscape feel almost surreal. Small villages tucked into the hills, with colorful rooftops, add living details that enrich the cinematic composition. The Ganges winds through the valley like a ribbon of light and color, catching sunlight and reflecting clouds, producing endlessly captivating visuals. Throughout the day, changing sunlight transforms the valley, from soft morning hues to the golden tones of sunset, creating a natural cinematic palette. Rocks and riverbanks along the shoreline provide perfect foreground elements, adding depth to every shot. The gentle rustle of trees and flowing river form a natural rhythm, bringing life and dynamism to the valley's serene ambiance. A fascinating secret, Rishikesh is known for its unique meditative energy, where the flow of the Ganges and the Himalayas' presence create a calm yet powerful atmosphere, unlike anywhere else. Temples and monasteries perched on hillsides create multi-layered scenes, blending human culture with dramatic natural surroundings. Morning light filtering through pine trees and mountain gaps casts ethereal beams, emphasizing the valley's peaceful and mystical character. Blue skies dotted with white clouds and reflective waters produce ever-changing cinematic vistas, keeping every frame visually engaging. Paths winding through the hills and along the river open up diverse perspectives, from wide panoramic views to intimate details of temples and natural textures. Afternoon sunlight bathes the valley in warm golden tones, turning the landscape into a living painting, perfect for cinematic capture. Every season brings its own palette, from emerald summer greens to golden autumn hues and soft winter whites, keeping the valley visually fresh. Walking along the trails, every turn reveals new frames and perspectives, from riverbanks to rocky outcrops, all surreal and mesmerizing. The sounds of flowing water, wind, and birdsong create an immersive, living soundtrack, enhancing the cinematic experience. Rishikesh is more than just a town. It is a journey where nature, mountains, and ancient architecture intertwine, providing moments of calm, mystery, and wonder. Gangtok, Sikkim, Eastern Himalaya. The moment you arrive in Gangtok, the steep Himalayan ridges rise around you, and the city appears suspended between mountains and drifting clouds, creating a setting that feels otherworldly from the start. From the first glance, dawn light settles over the hills, illuminating layers of mist and revealing the distant glow of Kanchenjunga in a scene that looks almost unreal. The terraced houses clinging to the slopes form intricate patterns against the rolling fog, adding a mesmerizing vertical rhythm to every viewpoint. Winding paths weave through monasteries and hillside neighborhoods, framing the landscape with quiet depth and a gentle sense of elevation. morning clouds sweep through the valleys, wrapping rooftops, trees, and temple towers in a floating veil, making the entire city feel like it's drifting in midair. Small clusters of homes perched on the ridgelines add splashes of color, enriching the layered Himalayan backdrop. The silhouette of Kanchenjunga shifts throughout the morning, catching first light and reflecting soft tones across the sky, creating scenery that feels crafted for cinematic storytelling. Across the day, the shifting haze and sunlight sculpt the mountains, moving from muted pastel dawns to crisp, luminous afternoons. The ridges and balconies overlooking the valleys act as a perfect foreground frames, giving every shot depth and atmospheric perspective. The gentle movement of fog, wind, and distant prayer flags brings subtle motion, turning still landscapes into living compositions. A little-known secret, locals believe Kanchenjunga only reveals itself fully to the lucky, making clear sky mornings a rare and treasured moment. Monasteries perched above the city create multi-layered views, merging human devotion with dramatic Himalayan contours. Soft morning beams slip between ridgelines, highlighting the city's presence among mountains and clouds. Blue horizons, shifting mists, and glowing snow peaks combine to create endlessly changing visuals that never look the same twice. Roads winding along the slopes open up constantly evolving angles, from sweeping panoramas down to intimate scenes of everyday life in the mountains. As afternoon light warms the landscape, Gangtok transforms, turning the steep hillsides into glowing, golden terraces. Each season paints the city differently, from clear winter skies to lush monsoon greens, keeping the overall palette fresh and dynamic. Walking through the narrow lanes, every turn presents a new frame, distant peaks, drifting clouds, or colorful homes emerging from the mist. The ambient blend of wind, temple bells, and rustling trees turns the high mountain atmosphere into a natural soundtrack. Gangtok is more than a mountain city. It is a living balcony overlooking the Himalayas, where clouds, light, and altitude create moments of wonder at every hour. If you want to keep exploring surreal places like this across the Himalayas, remember to follow the channel for the next incredible destination.